I don't understand at all. I mean, there's a few people in our arena that's unvaxxed, right? Like, they lifted all of that in our arena, right? So I don't get it.
It's a second mandate that says he can come in but can't play.
Yeah, I don't get it. It just feels like at this point now, somebody's trying to make a statement or a point to flex their authority. But, everybody out here looking for attention, and that's what I feel like the mayor wants right now, some attention, But he'll figure it out soon. He better. But it just didn't make any sense. Like, there's unvaxxed people in this building already. We got a guy who can come into the building. I guess, are they fearing our safety? I don't get it. So, yeah, we're all confused. Pretty much everybody in the world is confused at this point. Early on in the season, people didn't understand what was going on, but now it just looks stupid. So hopefully, Eric, you got to figure this out.
In case you guys forgot, nearly 2 weeks ago now, a Brooklyn Nets superstar, Kevin Durant, he called out the mayor of New York because there's this confusing back and forth about who can be in the arena, vaccinated or unvaccinated, and all these backs and forth. As Kyrie Irving famously has still not been vaccinated and has sat out every home game since they've been allowed to play in other games. So there's frustration from Kevin Durant because Kyrie does show up to games even when he's not playing, unmasked, unvaccinated, sits near the bench. All these things happen still, and he just wants to know, when was this confusing, stupid mandate and prevention of Kyrie Irving playing going to end? Now, the news now is the mayor has now decided to lift those restrictions on New York-based performers, venues, and athletes. So Kyrie will now be allowed to play again. But at the time, Eric Adams wasn't hearing any of that, and in fact, he had a lighthearted way of pushing back on this narrative. Watch.
And you're right, sir. You're right. And you're right. Thank you. Listen, you're right. Kyrie can play tomorrow. Get vaccinated. Go ahead. I love New York and hecklers, man.
That was on the same day that Kevin Durant also called him out. And not only that, because he didn't really care about that particular situation. When Kyrie then went into the locker room after the Nets won, this is what happens. To make matters worse or more complicated, the NBA fined the Nets $50,000 for, quote, violating the New York City law and league health and safety protocols after that Sunday's game. The violation was the result of Irving entering Brooklyn's locker room during the team's win, which he was still not allowed to do. Again, that was at the time, and they've now lifted these restrictions, so Kyrie will be back on the court. Now, after those criticisms, people were pushing back on what Kevin Durant did say to get in that little back and forth with Eric Adams, and he released a statement through the Nets, which might tell you something. Nets forward Kevin Durant walked back some of his recent criticism of the mayor in a statement that was released by the team. The last 2 years have been a difficult and painful time for New Yorkers, as well as a very confusing time with the changing landscape of the rules and mandates, is what Durant said in this statement. I do appreciate the task the mayor has in front of him with all the city has been through. My frustration with the situation doesn't change the fact that I will always be committed to helping the communities and cities that I live and play in. So Rick, we've hit the mandate point. Did Eric Adams fold? Did Kevin Durant win the battle after 10 days of that call out? Because now everything's gonna go generally, to a certain degree, back to normal for these guys.
Okay, so let's go back to something.
Yeah.
It was a charade that Kyrie Irving was allowed to be there, unmasked, and then he went into the locker room. And look, Joseph Tsai, who's the owner of the Brooklyn Nets, is a literal billionaire. So $50,000 to him is like 3 pennies to us.
Yeah,
it's absolutely nothing. You would pay that every single time. I think there's a little more to this than like, well, did he win? Did he fold? No, I actually think it's more of the core principle of what the Young Turks is about, which is money out of politics. So Lindsay Adler had a really, and she's a journalist at The Athletic. She covers New York baseball. She had a really important tweet, which was the Nets holding company paid Corey Johnson $18,000 a month and his lobbying firm. And he is regularly in touch with Mayor Adams and his chief of staff. And not only that, Mets owner Steve Cohen paid Eric Adams $1.5 million to Adams' super PAC, I should say. And they're paying $10,000 a month to a lobbying firm, which is called Moonshot Strategies. I got to read this just to make sure I'm getting everything right. To push state officials in City Hall on several issues, including COVID protocols. On top of this, the Nets are paying Parkside Group $7,500 a month to lobby city and state government on COVID-related business protocols. So I wouldn't say that one caved over the other. I would say that at the end of the day, greed rules all. The money was coming to Eric Adams to lift these mandates. And thus he did. It wasn't about taking a moral stance. It wasn't about saying I was wrong about Kyrie. It was show me the money. And then we'll be able to solve all this. Their investment is paying off because right now Brooklyn's in the 8th seed. No one wants to play them in the Eastern Conference because Kyrie Irving is about to come back. The bigger question, in my opinion, is Ben Simmons. We don't really know if he's going to be playing this season. I still don't believe that they maybe take the East or win a championship without Ben Simmons, but they just became that much more scary in the Eastern Conference because Kyrie Irving is now allowed to play.
And money will circulate even that point.